We're actually gonna hop right into it. We've actually got a Patreon request from Clutch Kicks, Mr. Clutch Kicks. So we'll be doing that straight away today, and then we'll kind of see where the day takes us after that. But first and foremost, I actually wanted to replay a couple of offline follows that came in for those young legends. Let them get their roses. So we've got Dr. Fiasco, who came in off the line, gave us a follow. Thank you very much for the follow. Oh look, can't see it very well. I gotta cover it with the chair. Let's see, who else was there? We got 3D Offset. Ooh, I know him. Thank you very much for the follow, Mr. Offset. We've also got Lucas Surge 83, who came in with an offline follow. We have Lister of Smee, Mr. Smee came in with an offline follow as well. Thank you very much. Go ahead and replay that. Do we have anybody else? That's it. Thank you guys again for the offline follows. Trying to get to affiliate. We need a total of 50 followers. Right now we're at 15, I think. Yes, we're at 15, so we're trucking along. We're almost there, in my opinion. Switch this over. And let's see what we're working on. Right here. So we had a user submit a request for remixing. As I said, it was Mr. Clutch Kicks. And he has this, looks like it's like a fan holder. But the fan holder is missing, what is it missing? It's missing mount points for the actual fan itself. So I'm going to pull this up here so you guys can take a look. So he's got this printed here, but it doesn't quite fit what he actually needs it to do. So we're going to hop in and we're going to fix it. He needs to get some mounting points so that he can mount the fan there, and mount the fan, yeah. You guys can see what's going on here. And he was so kind as to also provide some pictures that show better what he's trying to get done in the remix. That makes it really easy for me to know exactly what you guys need to get done when you have the remix file. So I'll pull this up here so you guys can see as well. Open image in new tab. This is what we're working with here. You guys should be able to see that, yeah. So he needs to add those tabs. He gave me the dimensions of how thick the tabs need to be. He also provided me with the dimensions of where the holes are. I know that he needs them to be heat inserts, so he made it real easy for me to follow along with what he needs, with along with a description of like what its purpose was. So should be fairly simple, fairly straightforward to remix this guy here. It's the right one. Make sure. Oh, it looks like it's this one that he wants to get fixed here. So we'll just work on this one here and add those mounting points. So let's get this guy over in a fusion, and just like yesterday, this one doesn't have the it doesn't have a step file with it. So I'm not going to cheat today. No cheating today. I'm going to do this completely for free way. All right. Let's hope this model isn't so screwed up that it makes me tap out. But I'm gonna do my absolute best to keep this within the realms of free fusion. Let me turn this down just a little, teeny tiny bit up. There we go. So let's open up Fusion. I've already got the model downloaded. So let's go and insert a mesh from the computer. And let's open up the fan design 2.5. And just like yesterday, I would normally have to orient this and do all that stuff, but it looks like this model's already done that. But as like a habit, I always go in and center and move to ground just to make sure it's flat. And the reason I do that is just in case I have something that's on the bottom plane, the bottom plane, I can make my sketches and all that off the bottom plane and not have to use the other geometry as a reference. it's the same as like why I want to have it centered. So if I need to reference something or split it in half, I can do that much easier if the model is exactly where it needs to be. So let's go to the mesh tab. We're gonna follow the same steps we did yesterday. We're gonna go to the mesh tab, and because we're not gonna cheat, we're not doing the paid version. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna just go straight into converting this to a body. So we're gonna modify, convert to body. You'll get a pop-up, right? And on the free one, we're gonna be able to select the faceted conversion. We're gonna select the body, faceted, and press OK. So this model doesn't have a bunch of holes in it, and this is what you'll normally expect if your model is manifold and all the edges and everything line up. You have a bunch of faces, but this is not difficult to work around. So let's jump over to the solid tab, and the paid version, much superior than yes, it's much superior. So I'm actually going to show you. So this is what gets generated under the free version. And let's go back and let's go ahead and generate face groups, right? We're going to change this from fast to accurate. Since I'm on the paid version and all that, we want this to be as accurate as possible. Let's preview the changes. Go ahead and select this here, and we'll see that this is going to be getting rid of all these triangles. Everything that became a certain color, that's all grouped in as one face, right? I might need to go in and combine these two faces here, but we'll see what it does. So we're gonna press OK to generate the face groups. Are these at different heights? They are. So the reason you can see here, the reason why this isn't the same face group as this is because you can see that there's a slightly different gap here in the actual model itself. So that's why you have this different set of triangles that were created. So I wouldn't want to combine these because they're not on the same plane. You only want to combine faces on the same plane. Anyways, so we're going to generate the face groups, and now all I've got to do to go is modify. And when I go to convert mesh, when I go to the prismatic option, watch what happens now. When I create it, you get a broken mesh apparently. Oh, I guess I do have to close those. Ooh, so we got to find that this model does have some issues. So it doesn't like things like that. Ah, bad example again. But if this face was even with that, it should have been able to catch it. I believe that this is what's causing the issue. So even on the paid version, sometimes you still have to do it the freeway. Because we're having issues converting this here. Trying to do it under the prismatic. I don't know why it's actually having issues with that. It's actually really shocking. Let's see, what's the error that it's giving us? Failure to compute. Not all face groups on the mesh body could be converted. The generated solid of this face body is not complete. So, ooh, that means that when we do this the normal way, because I should be able to go to the solid tab here and go to modify, simplify, and remove faces. And I should be able to select these and start deleting them to clean everything up. This is typically what the paid model will do for you automatically, but for some reason there's a hole or something somewhere that it doesn't like. So I'm just going to go through here and clean this up. There it is. It was the face that I thought was an issue. This one here, this face isn't connected and there's a hole in the model, so we'll address that one in a little bit here. Let's just get rid of the things that we can get rid of. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going through and selecting faces that don't delete the whole model to see if I can clean it up. And the goal here is just to try to tell Fusion which faces are on the same plane. It's some tricky areas. Something's not lining up. This triangle's probably like slightly to the right here. Fusion's very picky sometimes what it wants. It's not just selecting this face. That's the problem with working with STLs. They're difficult whether you're paying for it or you're not paying for it. So it's good to know how to do both of them. Hopefully at some point we'll get a model that's not like broken or doesn't have issues, but you know, there's ways around it. Go ahead and get rid of as many of these extra faces as we can. It's probably not going to like that though. Doesn't appear to, so we're gonna controls. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Our object files one step closer to step files are basically the same. It's basically the same thing as an STL and a 3MF. All their meshes come over looking about the same. From what I understand, the biggest difference would be of what application it has. Yeah, I would just look at it as the STL, 3MF, and object files or .obj are pretty much the same thing. .step is just like code. It's not a mesh. It can be it's like the instructions for like everything that I'm doing here, like all the little sketches and things that are created. The step file are the instructions of how to create it. So if this circle here is a series of straight lines, a step file will tell you the equation that makes this a circle. Whereas the other files are just going to give you the object, the mesh in general. Into my faces. See if I can clean this up any further. I don't want to delete so much that I start to change the actual geometry. I'm just trying to clean these faces up, make it a little bit easier to work with, a little bit less triangles, but it seems like this is changing the geometry of these holes and stuff. So I'm going to leave those alone, especially since it's not going to change the final design. Because all we're adding, if we refer back to the pictures that Clutch gave us of what he's trying to do, where'd we go? He just wants to add these tabs, right? Excuse me. So let's start there. So this first tab is going to be 13 millimeters high and 9 millimeters wide, and it's going to start 28 millimeters from the topmost portion here. Okay, so let's add that, and then I believe, let me see, do I have reference for the depth is going to be the thickness of the actual object. So let's start by looking at this in the configuration which would be here. So we're going to make our sketch on this plane and extrude up to the thickness of this actual part itself. So let's go ahead and create sketch by clicking the top here. And if for some reason you don't have create sketch in the top right, top left, you can always do the drop down and then create sketch. And we want to make it on this plane. We're going to click that plane there. And let's look at the bottom here, and we want to project this geometry so we have some reference points. So I'm just going to press P on the keyboard, this over here, pull it so you guys can see what I'm doing. And if you don't want to do the shortcut, you can always do create and then project and project, because we just want to project this geometry here. And I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made yesterday. I'm going to include the projection link on this guy here. And you'll notice that this turns purple, and this just means that this projection is tied to this model. So if I move this around, the sketch projection can move, or if I change the dimensions of this geometry here that was projected, like if I pull this face out, the sketch geometry in here will also be affected as well. So they're going to be linked together. All right, and let's go ahead and make a construction line So we're going to change our line type to construction, or you can press X on your keyboard. That also makes a line construction. We're going to go up here and create, and we want to make a line, or you can press L on your keyboard or press the little shortcut there. We're going to make the line from the top here. As Clutch said, he wants it to be 20. Let me pull this up as a reference in the, I don't forget as I'm working here. So he wants this to be 28 millimeters down. We'll make this 28 millimeters. And when you start to type in measurements, when they pop up, you're constraining it. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. When I click this after typing it in, you'll see that I get, and I'm going to press escape on the keyboard to exit out of the line tool. You'll see that the 28 pops up, and I can move this around, and this is just the dimension of this line, right? And this is a constraint. So you'll see when I click on this here, down at the bottom, it describes what it is. So I have one sketch dimension, which is what I clicked, and the length is 28, right? You can also see that this is constrained here, and it's also constrained here. And I know that because when I hover over it, you'll see that things start to pop up, right? And if you're ever curious of what these constraints are, you can always just click on the constraint itself, and you'll see at the bottom what that constraint is doing. And you can also see if a point has, or a line, or a feature has multiple constraints, because they'll stack. So you can see here that this has two constraints, this point. So that's telling me that this line itself is constrained here, and this point is constrained here. And you can see what things are constrained to what by clicking on these here, and it'll highlight what you're actually constraining. So you'll see when I click on this guy here, you can see that this highlights. The little line is highlighting. You don't want to get lost in where what your constraints are doing. So you have this top constraint is constraining this line to the box, because you can see when I highlight over it, the box itself is starting to highlight. And then this line itself is constrained. You can see that only highlights here. So it's constrained by this box, aka our projection. It's constrained by the line here, and it's constrained by the point that was created from the line. And then you have another constraint here, which is just constrained to this point in space. Hopefully that makes sense, but all those things were created just from making a simple line. And that can seem overwhelming, but it's definitely very handy when you need to go back and change something. So let's say we make these modifications, and later on Clutch goes, oh man, I actually needed this to be 26 millimeters. You can easily change it, and it'll change the line it'll automatically change everything around it. So it's good to have these constraints and these parameters. So let's do that, and then we're going to make another one on the other side. So I just pressed L on my keyboard to open up the line tool. I need to get one of those things that shows my button clicks. I got to figure out what program I need for that. We have those two lines there. I'm going to just pull this out a little bit here so I can see length of that, see length of that. And from here, the sketch shows that we have a rectangular box that's going to come off the side of this point, and it's going to be 9 by 13. So we can either go up here and select the rectangle, or we can press, as you can see when you go to the little drop down, it shows you that you can press R as a shortcut here. So if there's anything with a shortcut, you'll see it pop up. So like circle is C, there's no shortcut for arcs, there's no shortcut for polygons, but some things have convenient shortcuts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use a 2-point rectangle, and it's pretty straightforward. I want to make a rectangle that starts in 2 points, so I know where my 2 points are starting. It'd probably be easier just to show you. So we're gonna start at this point here, and we want this to go, and I don't want this to be a construction line anymore, so we're gonna actually turn off the construction line, open up our rectangle again, and we're gonna start here, and you can see it pop up the dimensions, right? So on the what is this? The y-axis, the x-axis, you can see that it's showing 23, 24, whatever, and then on the x-axis it's showing 18, 19, 20. It's highlighted, right? So if I know that the x-axis needs to be 13 millimeters, that was provided, I can just type in 13, and I can press tab to get to the other set of dimensions. And I know that the x-axis here needs to be, what was that, 9 millimeters. I can just type that in. Boom. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to make a box that is 13 by 9. And you'll see what happened when I went to pull this down, how that green snap point popped up. That's just showing me that this will be lined up to this one here. And that is another constraint. So you got to be careful about the snap points, but for convenience, I can click that, but I want these to all be constrained. I want these to be a dimension. All right, click that one. Let's go into my rectangle, that there, and we want it to be 13 by 9. Does that look right? Yes, 13 by 9. And then let's make another line here, and we want this one to be construction. We're going to make the boxes for the bottom, the lower mounting points on this. So we'll start at the top, and we'll make a line here. And this is supposed to be, the dimensions given were 86 millimeters. So we'll make this 86 millimeters, and we'll do another one over here. 86 millimeters. And sometimes you'll get, you see how the degree is popping up? You should be able to change the degree of that if you want by putting into a degree here. And we're going to click that. I just want to be straight down. 86 millimeters is the length of that one. We'll kind of make this all symmetrical and parallel and all that stuff. Nice and pretty. Okay. Now we're going to make our second box, and this one's going to be the same dimensions of this one here. So there's a couple ways to do it. I'm not going to complicate it too much, so we'll just do the simplest way, which is just, let's make another box. I think as this stream series goes on, I'll start to show more and more complicated ways to do stuff. Make our other box. We want this one to be 13 by 9. We'll make a box here. We want this one to be 13 by, oops, 13 by 9. Perfect. So we got our boxes there. And then he shows that I've got to get this other picture opened up. Give me one. He says that he wants there to be a hole here for the screw mounting point so he can put heat inserts. So let's do that for him. And he says that the position of the circle that he needs is 4 millimeters in and 6 millimeters up. I would imagine that that's going to be the center of this here. But let's go ahead and make a line. Make it a construction line, and we're going to go from the center point, and you can see that little triangle that pops up. That just says we're working with another constraint, center point, and we want it to be 4.5 millimeters. Look at that, it's right in the center. So his sketch was perfect. We want that to be 4.5 millimeters in, and I wanted to mention this just for the sake of argument. So we're going to do line, and we want this to be 4.5 millimeters there, and I'm guessing this should be 6. So in his dimension, he said that he wanted this to be 6 millimeters above that. So let's take a look at his photos to make sure that that is correct, that this is indeed lower than the center point. up here. So this might have just been an error in his measuring, because when I look at this here, this hole seems to be perfectly centered in between here. It doesn't seem to be 0.5 millimeters lower, right? It doesn't seem to be 0.5 millimeters lower than, so he's saying that he wants, let's open this over here. You guys can all see. He wanted the hole to be 4.5 over and 6 millimeters up. And if I were to put the hole 4.5 millimeters over and 6 millimeters up, it wouldn't be perfectly centered here. It would be a little bit lower. And when I'm looking at his picture, right, I can see that it looks like this is perfectly centered. So I think we're probably just going to go with it being centered, and then we can change it later if necessary. Maybe I can make it so that he can just print this part to make sure it fits before committing to this entire print. Go back into Fusion. And let's dimension up. Let's make another line. This one's going to be 6.5 because that's just the natural difference, right? 0.5. And then we want to make a circle, and there's also multiple types of circles that you can make. Center point, 2-point, 3-point tangent circle, or 2-point tangent circle, just depending on different scenarios, right? Right now, the best circle would be the center point circle because we need to make a circle in the center. The size of the circle is going to be heat insert size. I'm just turning off the construction line because this is the line I want to work with. And my best uses for heat insert lines has been 4.5 millimeters, so we make it that. What's the difference between a construction line and the normal lines? Okay, so the difference is, let me exit out of the circle. And we're going to go up here really quick, and I'm going to make a construction line. We're going to make a box, right? It's arbitrary because I just want to show you this. When I finish making this box, you notice that when I move the mouse inside of the box, it's nothing happens. It's just hollow, right? Construction lines can't be interacted with. They're only for points of reference. So if I wanted to try to extrude this, I couldn't. Versus if the line wasn't a construction line, so if I just made this a normal square, you'll notice that the line is blue instead of dotted, and when I move my cursor on the inside, this face is now closed and I can interact with it, right? So if I were to finish this sketch, and let's say I wanted to extrude this up, right? I can't click the inside of this box because it doesn't have a face, it's not closed, but I can click this one. So anything that is a closed loop is considered a face. So all of these corners here, these are all closed. And if it's not closed, it's got holes. And if it's got holes, it can't be a closed solid body. So if I want to make references, so let's show you what would happen if these weren't construction lines, right? So if I wanted to make a circle, and I put this in here, and I want this to be 4.5 millimeters, right? When I hover it, so I want this circle to be a different face, right? I want this to be a completely different thing. So when I extrude it up, it's going to extrude as one whole. Now, if these reference points weren't construction lines, so if I click on these and I press X, and I make them not construction lines, what happens is these are all now completely different faces. These are all different sections, right? And because they're different sections, let's say even if I extruded this one solid thing straight up, right? Because I've made it different faces, you end up with things like this, right? You start to see things that are different faces. Those actually mean something in Fusion, if it's a closed face or not. You just have to be aware of those things. So if it's just going to be for reference, it's a good practice to make them construction line. And because I already know where that the center of this is our desired section, there's really no need for me to do these construction lines for each one of these, because when I go in to make a circle, wherever my cursor is, it's going to want to snap to constraints. So I can find the midpoint here, and I can find the midpoint here, and move up, and it'll automatically snap to where the middle point of those would be. And now I can just click in here and make the circle how big I want it to be. And be sure not to press enter after doing a function, because if you press enter after doing a function, so if I did 4.5 and I pressed enter, you'll notice that the circle function or that tool went away. It now, I'd have to go back up here and open up circle again and to get that back. So if you're still going to be using the tool, after you've made your circle, you've typed in your dimensions, just press, just click anywhere again, you know, where you want it to be placed. That way the tool doesn't go away. And if you ever want to get out of a tool, like you see that you have the circle thing open, you can always just press escape on your keyboard and it'll get rid of it. All right, thanks. That's good, Pred. I'm glad that makes more sense. So now we've got our, let's compare our sketch. Excuse me. Let's compare our sketch to the drawing. I can put this here. That there. Oh. Make it smaller. So now you can see what we did here. So we just took what he wanted, and we placed that alongside what we're going to be adding to the model itself. So now that we're all done with that, we can finish the sketch. And you can see that I forgot to make this a construction line. So I can just click on this face here, because this is part of the sketch. Right click, and then edit sketch. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna make this an construction line. And if you can't remember that process there of what I just did, you can always just open up your sketch tab and double click the sketch to get back in to edit it. Or you can right click the sketch and then go edit sketch. So there's multiple ways to do the same stuff in Fusion. Just do whatever's the most comfortable to you. All right, now what Clutch wanted was he wanted these tabs to be the same height as the other model. So very simple. We're going to extrude. So you can either press E on your keyboard, open up the extrude function, or you can click the extrude shortcut, which should be at the top, or you can do create, then go down to extrude. And again, the shortcuts, if they have one, will be listed right next to the actual function or the tool. We're going to do extrude, and he wants these to be heat inserts, right? So let's see. Let me take a look at how this fan's going to be mounted, how it's going to be screwed. Where's the tab? So my guess is that a bolt is going to... Here, let me do this. If I had to guess, right? A bolt is going to go in through this way and then need to get screwed into a heat insert here. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining needs to happen. I'm going to assume he's using M3 heated inserts. And if the screw goes in here, let's assume that he wants the screw to go through the heated insert and then thread through the plastic after it goes through the heated insert. Let's assume that's what's going to happen. So what I'm going to do, and so I'm going to make a quick change to the sketch before I extrude this. I know just from designing, the perfect hole size for an M3 bolt to thread through with some meat is 2.8 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this I'm going to offset the heat insert holes and make another hole inside of it that's 2.8 millimeters. I'll have the heat insert only go into the plastic as far as the heat insert would make it flush, and then the rest of it will go through that the screw can actually go through and bite. So this way it'll allow you to either use a screw that's the exact length that you need, or if you have a longer screw, it should be able to pass through easily. So let's go ahead and go back in here and edit the sketch. And I want to add a few more circles, and we're going to add one here that's 2.8 millimeters. We're going to add one here that is 2.8 millimeters. We're just going to do this for all of these, just for our secondary hole. 0.8. Perfect. And now we can finish the sketch. All right, so let's go ahead and extrude. So we're just going to extrude these squares, and we're going to do the whole extrusion separately. So, or the heat insert hole extrusion separately. So this will be the hole for the screw without heat inserts and the side tabs. Let's see this. Does anybody else get like 1 million spam calls a day? Crazy. I get so many. And we want this to extrude up and be parallel with this plane. So you can easily just click this face here and it'll extrude it up to make it flush. Very straightforward. And we want these to join to this. So we're just gonna press join, and just like that. We've got those tabs there, but the hole at the top is only going to fit an M30 screw. We need it to fit a heat insert perfectly. So we're going to add the whole offset from this sketch. Now, you might be like, well, how are you going to do that if the sketch is down here and I need to put the hole here for the heat insert? Pretty simple. We're just going to go into extrude again. We're going to select the things that we want to extrude, which is this inner circle here. Excuse me, this outer circle. Right? And instead of clicking at the top here, because that would just cut a hole, which I'll just show you. That'll cut a hole straight through, right? Which we don't want to do that. We want it to start here and go down a certain distance, right? So instead of that, we're going to select our outer circle. And for our starting point, instead of the profile plane, which that is where this sketch is on this profile plane. So instead of starting our extrusion on this profile plane, we're going to want to start from an object, right? So instead of starting there, we're going to say, let's start our extrusion from here, right? And now you can see that we're starting from here instead of down there. And I want to extrude downwards now into the model to cut an offset. And I'm going to cut down as deep as the heater insert is tall. It's 4 millimeters. I like to leave a little small amount of wiggle room, one layer, for the plastic to shrink around it. So we're going to go 4.2 millimeters down on our cut. So we're going to go ahead and do this. The distance down that we're going to cut is 4.2 millimeters. And that'll cut straight into model. Press OK. And there you go. You've got your holes cut. You've got your tabs on there, and we can hide this sketch because we don't need it anymore. Right? And if you wanted, you can go in now and you can clean this model up a little bit. You can add fillets to make it stronger, right? So if I wanted to, I can press the fillet button here. And I can go in, and if I wanted to add some fillets to this, let's say I wanted them 3 millimeters, probably good. Right? So if you want to try to match the like contour or roundness or whatever, you can change this and kind of customize it and make it, you know, look however you want. If you want to add more, you can hold control on your keyboard to add more. Add these, and you don't even have, you can select right through bodies and stuff, which is nice. So I wanted to add some chambers or fillets on this. You can easily add that. And this was all done through the free version of Fusion, so you didn't have to have the paid model in order to get it to this section. And I'd argue that the paid model struggled a little bit more than this one did, right? So we've got those things added that we wanted. I'm going to take out the fillets because that's not something that he asked for. But typically you like to have those. It makes it a little bit easier to print and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this model up just a bit, kind of get rid of all the random faces and make it a little bit more pretty. This part definitely isn't necessary by any means, but I don't like for things to have like random faces that, you know, don't line up to each other, that aren't even. Like this is a 0.002 millimeter difference, which your slicer won't see it. Maybe not. Sometimes you'll go to print stuff and you'll have a random face that's not attached, or it'll do like half of it'll print and then it'll change directions in the slicer. You don't want that. So when you can get rid of stuff like this and to clean it up, I'd say take the opportunity to do it. The easiest way to do that for this model would probably be to just cut this whole thing off. Completely skin this off and then extrude it back up, since this face is flat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a let's see if this is, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this body, I'm gonna split it in half. Oops, I guess I was already selected something. I'm gonna split it by pressing the split body command. This pops up. Let's select our body to split, and I want to split it at this face. Press OK. So now I've got two separate bodies. This one and this one, right? And now I'm just trying to clean this face up. So I want everything here to be on the same level. And you'll notice that splitting this, Fusion recognized, oh crap, these faces were on the same plane. So it already automatically got rid of that. So I don't even have to do the extra split. So detaching these did half of the job. So now I can just, let's see, what's the distance from this face to this face? So it looks like these are all exactly 0.2. And I know that because every time you click that, you can see in the bottom corner here, it's showing you the distance from this face. And then I'm holding shift on my keyboard and then selecting the second face, and it's showing me the minimum distance is 0.2. And I can see that that looks to be the same for all of these. Yeah, 0.002, which means that these are all most likely parallel. So I can very easily just go ahead and press pull, right? Which is just an offset command. And we're going to select these here. And instead of automatic, we're going to do new offset so that we can select multiple. And we're going to select all of these here. And we want them to go up 0.002. And this might not work, but let's see. Boom, there you go. Now that jank little face is gone. It looks like cutting that face also cleaned up my other one, so that's good. So I only have like things like this. Let's see if I can simplify this more. Simplify, move faces. Oh, that works, cool. So let's clean these up as well while we're here. That way, when I upload this remix, anybody else that wants to work on this, they'll have a very simple, easy, smooth file to work on. They don't have to worry about going in and doing all this. That's looking real nice. Let's bring the other body back and see if there's anything we got to clean up on this one. Looks like there are. Let's see if it'll let me get rid of this without... Oh, it won't get rid of this whole. It doesn't like that. It don't like that. Let's try to do the trick that we did earlier. Let's see if we can, but instead of this time being able to use the body itself as a reference to split, I'm going to do an offset plane just back a little teeny tiny bit from here to chop off this entire bunch of faces that don't appear to be even or flat. So to do that, we're just going to click on up here, offset plane, click on the plane we want to offset, and I'm going to offset it by minus 0.005, just something real small to cut in there, just a small sliver. So that we're not changing overall dimensions of this model at all. We're just cleaning stuff up. So now we can split body. We're going to split this one, select the splitting tool, and that's going to be this. Okay. That should give us, yeah. So now if I click this and press V on my keyboard, it'll hide this body. You can also go into here and hide it, but shortcuts are fun. Click it, V, hides, boom. Now we can see that this guy there, if I hide this one, you can see that all those are gone. Nice. And if I really cared to make this exactly the same, I should be able to click, press, pull, click on this face, and offset this by how much I offset it before. So 0.005 is what I did before. And we can press OK. And now this is the exact same height as it was before. Identical, but all of those random faces that were there before, look, they're all gone. It looks like I've got a little bit more jankness going on down here. What happened to this? See. Oh, okay. That's all looking good so far. Let's make these holes here. Let's make them not so pixelated. No more pixel farm holes. Also something that's very simple. We're gonna go into create a sketch. Actually, before we do that, we don't need this messed up face anymore, so we're just gonna go ahead and remove. And then let's create a sketch. Click that guy there, and we're gonna project. I just press P on the keyboard. This time we're not gonna take the whole face. We're only gonna take points. Remember earlier how I said that there's multiple circles that you can make? Right now we're gonna make a 3-point circle so that we can recreate the same size of this, find that out perfectly, whatever it was. So we're gonna click these here, press OK. We've got our 3 dots, and now when I press C, I'm gonna, instead of doing the center diameter circle, we're gonna do the 3-point circle and click 1, 2, 3, and you can see that this hole is 6.4 something. I don't know. It wasn't a perfect 6.5, and I think that is the size hole. Like, no one goes in design and goes, hey, I want to make a hole that's 6.472 millimeters. I can imagine that they were trying to do a 6.5 millimeter hole, but the program that they designed this in, once they exported it, turned it into polygons, slightly changed the dimensions. So we know now where the center of this hole is. I'm going to make this a construction line. Click it and press X. Click it and press X, and I have the center of this. We're going to make another circle. This time it's going to be a center point circle. We're going to make this something bigger, like a little bit bigger than this, so you don't get any holes. So we're going to make it 6.8 millimeters, right? And then we're going to make another one that's the exact size that we want the hole to be, which is going to be 6.5, right? We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to make one hole that's 6.8. And if you guys have questions at any point, don't hesitate to ask. We want to make this one 6.5. And we're going to finish the sketch. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill this hole with something that's nice and clean. That sounded wrong. Pause. We're going to fill the hole with a nice clean extrusion. We're going to press E. We're going to select our outermost circle and innermost circle here. We're going to do the same thing on this side. and we want this extrusion to go to the other end. And instead of cutting, we want it to join. Gonna get rid of the hole, and that's fine. We're gonna do one more extrusion. We're gonna select our inner circle only, right? Inner circle only. And we're gonna do another extrusion. That's gonna cut that clean. Press OK. And now we have a nice, smooth, round circle. No more random polygons. Super clean, easy to edit, easy to work on. I think the only thing that's left is like these random holes here. These guys. I don't think I can get rid of these easily by deleting the face. Oh, I can. So let's go through and remove some of these extra faces that aren't necessary, because these are flat surfaces. If it's a flat surface parallel, it doesn't need to have another face. Ooh, what did that do? That just changed up there. Not a big deal. So getting rid of those polygons, it looks like it made a extra bit of geometry, which is completely fine. It didn't change anything there, and we can get rid of that super easy by just with a cut command. So let's go ahead and get rid of that by splitting this body. And we're going to split it with this top face. Press OK. And these extra bits that we don't want, we can just right click and remove. So now we've got nice, smooth, clean interiors there. It looks like doing those deleted faces, though, it might have changed the angle of what this was. So let's go back and see, and I can grab my timeline and I can see if deleting those faces had any type of adverse effect on the model. So I went back in the timeline to where those faces weren't deleted, and I can see that nothing changed. So we're good. Go back in the future. Yeah, nothing changed here. So that's all the same. Perfect. That all looks good. So the only thing that we have left is whatever the heck is going on here. And when I go to do my remove faces, simplify remove faces, clicking that wants to delete this whole section. So what I might need to do is make a sketch here. Let's project this entire bottom. And let's make a line that closes this top portion, right? Make a line that closes this top portion. Yeah. And let's finish the sketch, right? And let's actually see what this delete face thing does. I think what's going to happen is it's going to close this off, right? But if it does, we can just extrude this up and cut it back out to make it the same. So let's go back into my modify, simplify, remove faces. Let's just get rid of that. So it did what I thought it was going to do. That's not a big deal, because like I said, we can just go in here to extrude. We can select the faces that filled in, and then just cut it back out. Oh, so now that did get rid of our chamfer there. Okay. So we don't want to get rid of the chamfer. I wonder if I can, and I see why it's happening. Let's see if I go into here, chamfer this. Yeah, so we can just put our chamfers back in. So let's add our chamfers. Actually, let me see, before I do that, let's see what that chamfer angle was. Here to here. Oh, you know what else I could do? Instead of doing a chamfer, let's do it even more rudimentary versus adding a chamfer, right? Let's make a sketch here. Before we delete those faces and everything, let's preserve this this exact angle, right? So let's make a sketch here. Let's project this face, and let's close this off, right? Let's complete this square here. And finish this sketch, and then let's go back into the timeline. So now I have this here that delete function got rid of the chamfers that were there. So instead of going back and individually selecting, I can just take the previous sketch, the projection, press extrude, select that there, and then literally I can either slide this through and chop, right? Or I can just click the faces as far as the extent that I want to go. So I can click that and boom. Now that's all gone. Press OK. And look at that. We're back where we were. But we've got clean faces. It looks like I missed one. So let's go back into here. Click that. Boom. There we go. And see how nice that is to be able to go back into the timeline, double click something, and then make a quick change. So we've got this body completely cleaned up. We can now reattach this to that. So let's press combine, attach this to this. And there we go. We have one solid body that's perfectly free of random faces. It's yeah, it's a beautiful thing. This should be ready to print and ready to mount. Oh, and I'll provide the Fusion files. I'll provide the step files and everything. I'll get the remix uploaded for you guys. Yeah, and when I share the Fusion file, right, you'll be able to open this file up and look at everything that I've done. You should be able to, even on the free version of Fusion, you should be able to open this up and see everything in my timeline. You can go back in and edit. You should be able to go in and add the fillets and, excuse me, all that stuff. So let's get this guy ready for upload to printables. If only I could find where that tab was. Here? There it is. So this is gonna be, what should we call this?
Marco.
Oh, what's going on, brother? I'm live. Yeah. I forgot that I was in the Discord call, dude. I gotta mute myself. Let me actually leave. I didn't realize I was in here. I was in a Discord call this whole time, guys. Okay. Let's open this back up. So Flash Forge, Adventure 5, Non 5 Pro. Oh hi! Oh hi! Oh hi Ryu! Oh hi! Alright. We're gonna be naming this. What are we gonna name it? File save as what? We're gonna call it Flash Forge. My brain, I just forgot that fast what it was called. Flash Forward Adventure 5 Non-Pro Aux Fan Holder. Sorry you guys hear my clickety-clacky keyboard. I tried to get that dialed in earlier, but I couldn't get it to go away without my voice peaking and stuff like that. Pro, and just like that, I forgot my chain of thought. Oh, Adventure 5 Non-Pro Aux Fan. Adventure 5 Pro Aux Fan. 5. Now let's save it. File. Let's export this as an F3D so I can get you guys the project. Also export it as a step file. And for those curious, you can only export step if you have the paid version. And if you have the free version, the way that I would suggest you export your files is to right-click the file, right? Press Save as Mesh. And then I typically like to go with STL binary. It has pretty high detail without having a crazy amount of triangles. I think, Pred, you had asked earlier what the difference between STL, 3MF, object. It really comes down to their file size. That's gonna be like the biggest thing. So you can see here, if I preview this file, you can see how many triangles an STL creates. If I go to 3MF, you can change it changes how many triangles and stuff that you can create, how detailed the mesh is gonna be. And you can see you can change, like on 3MF, I can't specify how big the model is. It is purely a mesh. It's an infinitely scalable mesh, right? So if you have something that is going to be that you want and intend to have infinite tolerances and scale completely, you want to export it as a 3MF. If it's meant to be that size and stay that way, STL. If you're looking for, I don't even know what object would be good for, but you get what I'm saying for. It just changes the amount of how big the file is, blah, 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 blah. I like STL binary. It gets you good detail, and it's not like crazy big of a file, make it easier to slice and all that stuff. Yeah, objects is going to give you even more details. It gives you even more details, and it allows you to specify the it's like 3MF, but allowing you to specify the dimensions. Some slicers don't work with 3MFs and stuff, so I typically just do STL because it's easier for continuity. Jesus Christ. 3MF is a container, yep. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Alright, so let's go here and let's upload a remix. And for this, I think it's easiest to just drag all the files in, if I'm not mistaken. Put those there, and then I've got to get a open up a second instant of Fusion. And what I want to do is I want to just get a quick side by side of the files. Of the like before and after. Or do this. That. I have a very big monitor. I can just make it bigger. Let's go to my named views and home. Go here, named view. Same. This. let's get a... Okay, let's get a screenshot. Oh man, I have these backwards. I was supposed to do before and then after, and now I have after and before. Huh? Oh, I'm such a loser. Yeah, whoopsies. Alright, this will work. You guys like my jank pen writing? I can't write an A apparently. My goodness. Goodness. Why is drawing with a mouse so difficult? Ah! Ah! I will get this. You know what that's gonna happen. I can't get it any better. Maybe I should just put a text box. Oh man, ease or difficult. Come on, I got this. There we go. You know, that's gonna have to be good enough, man. That's just gonna have to be good enough. All right. Put that back there. Open this back up. Go to desktop. Drag and drop. Didn't work. Okay. This is not supposed to go there. This is supposed to go here. Inserts. Why can't I put anything? What? Why does it want to put like an extra space into that? How weird. Yeah, there's line up. Let's put that. Description. Remix request by user that user request by one of my patrons. This is like the hardest part, is like putting descriptions on printables. I just want to upload the file. What is the description of this? Patreon remix request results from the live stream. The original did not have a mounting point for fan itself. This remix adds mounting points that take boron style heat inserts. I'm so sorry about the clicky clackies, guys. That really bugs me that it's. I don't know how it picks it up. I have the decibels set to like dang near ready to shut my voice off, and it's still like, nah, fam. Nah, fam. We're getting those clickies in. It's not an issue to you. I know, but I'm trying to create an environment for you guys that's nice and soothing to your ears. I've got the music in the background. This remix adds mounting points that take boron style heat inserts. I've also included the F3D file as well as that file for easier file. Is there AI, NVIDIA, AMD mutes BG background? So I don't have this issue in Discord or like any other apps. It's just OBS. And I probably need to switch over to Streamlabs OBS instead of OBS Studio to get those extra perks. I just haven't done it yet. I've never really used Streamlabs OBS or Stream Elements or whatever it is. I think I just need to use a different streaming software. Let's see. If you need heated inserts, this model and want to support me, feel free to use my Amazon affiliate links when purchasing your heat inserts. Oh yeah, baby, let's get that plug in there. Let's get it in there. You guys know that I have an affiliate. I have affiliate links. How crazy is that? What a time to be alive. Go to Google Sheets. The links. We're looking at boron heat inserts. Let's add an arrow. Space. Let's hold this. All right. Four. All right. We got that there. Free licensing. Non-commercial, share alike. On Pro has to be in a category. Okay. What category is the original in? They're in the same category. Let's check and see what category the original is. Will find it. I will. I will. Oh, it's over here. All right, so this one is in category, what category? 3D printers and 3D printer upgrade. Other printers, parts, and other printer parts and upgrades. What are you using, sir? Excuse me, this is a Wendy's. You guys out here raw dogging it through life, no tags. Okay, I think that should do it for the remix. Yeah, that is it. Publish. Yeah, that works. All right, guys. That's the first remix of the day done. Do we have any other files? Let me check Patreon, see if anybody has put anything. No. Nobody else is interested in a remix today, apparently. Apparently. I know, Pred, you have a great idea, but I definitely want to hear back from the original creator on that little web blaster. But I think that would be amazing. Oh, this thing, that looks super cool. It's crazy that he, like, his Patreon's gone. It looks like he hasn't uploaded any videos in a couple years. I hope he's okay. Hopefully he didn't, like, croak or something. But if I can get the okay on that, because just at a quick glance, that seemed like something it'd be super, super easy to recreate. Here, I'll pull up actually what you sent me, and I'll show the rest of the stream what we're talking about. I think he started out selling models through Patreon, maybe. Yeah, but I tried to go to his Patreon to see if I could subscribe or whatever, couldn't find it, and then shifted to selling printed parts. That's crazy how much he's charging for those, like $140. It's wild. So for those curious,
all right, let's do this one last time.
This is what me and Pred are talking about. He found this model and he's asking if I could recreate something like this, and the answer is yes. Do I have the technical skill to recreate this? Yes. I'm just trying to find out if the creator will be okay with me not only recreating it, but sharing all the files with everybody and like showing how to make it and all that stuff. So I just want to make sure that we're cleared on that end before we start, dumping in all sorts of hours into this thing, and then you find out, oh, I don't want you doing that, and that's no fun. So this is what Pred sent. So maybe this will be a future project here, guys. That's really loud. Jesus Christ, that's so loud. That seems like an extremely simple project. Yeah, it's just a couple. I mean, this would not be hard to recreate at all. Dude, I don't know why this video is like just dangerously loud. We're just gonna be recreating everything from these like short little clips right there. God, that's all I need. I think there's a single frame where he shows what springs he's using. I don't care about your gifts on Etsy, bruh. But that seems like it'd be super easy. Super easy to recreate. Oh yeah, that's right. Let me send the link to this duder. Let's scroll through printables. Let's take a look at what's out there. Take a look at some new uploads. Can I put me? Pink. Ree, do you have that? Do you want me to work on that? What's it called? Whatchamacallit? The magnet holes for your other thingamadooter? I don't know how to attach the MMU to the magnets yet. What do you mean you don't know how to attach the MMU to the magnets? What does that mean? Let's look at it. The MMU body needs magnets on it. Then there is a second piece with magnets screwed into the enclosure. Gotta love STLs, man. Gotta love them. Well, this one has remix culturing allowed. I can make it a step file, right, Quack? What part are you looking to have magnetic? These things right here? Or is that the bit you don't know? Are you looking for the feet to be? So you need these feet to stick to something magnetic. So you just need magnets along the bottom here. Right? That's real simple, dude. What about this piece? What is this? You don't need this? I can tell this was made in Blender. Look at all these. Look at all this. Look at all those triangles. Oh my lord. Oh my lord Jesus. Alright, let's download this then. Just throw it into Fusion 3T real quick. Alright, alright, alright. Should be fairly simple. I don't think I'm gonna do it the freeway. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I think that'll be okay. I don't think anybody's gonna be mad at me over that. Oh god. What's going on in here? Some of these holes are good, some weren't. God, it's so obvious when things are made in like Blender and stuff. You can see like this isn't things like this circle, this face here isn't like perfectly tangent to this one. There's like a weird like egg thing going on. I don't know what's up with that. But you know, we ball out. Weird jankiness. What size magnets do you have, Mr. Ryu Shikushi? You know off the top of your cranium? How many magnets do you think you'll need? Wait, men? I think maybe like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on each side. 3? Okay. I don't think it matters too much. We'll see how many fit here. The arrangement. So you see this? These holes aren't perfectly straight. They're not lined up. They're askew. It's almost straight, but it's not straight. That's crazy. Yeah, this is a Blender export quality. Um, I don't really Blender's powerful, but it leaves room for this type of error. Let's see, that is 7 millimeters. 7. Close, but this is not. It's like it's off by like a fraction of a degree. In the long run, it's not going to make a difference, but definitely interesting to know. Oh, sir. I think it leaves a lot to desire when, yeah, for functional parts, you don't want there to be fractions of degrees off in your angles, because that can, yeah, that could just leave you spending a bunch of time chasing your tail for no reason. Ryu, 15 millimeter magnets don't fit here. Are you okay with this being bigger? Like, I can make it the actual model itself wider so that it'll fit, but a 50 millimeter magnet doesn't fit. It's too wide. Which that's not a big deal to make it bigger. Alright, then let's make it a cool 6 millimeters. Oops. 6 millimeters wider. So 15, let's make it 15 points. Let's make it 15.2, make it easier for the magnets to go in there. And then, let's do create. Let's create a rectangular pattern of this. We want it to be symmetrical. And let's see what... Oh, why did it go to that one? Oh. What side are you putting the magnet on? The magnet's gonna go on the bottom part. Yo, what up, Putch? Yeah, the magnet's gonna go on the bottom part. Because this will be a bridge, so it should be able to put it on top. Huh? And me is confusion. Because if it's, what are you making now? I'm remixing this to add magnets for Ryu. In my brain, isn't this supposed to, like, are you trying to make it stick to a magnetic base? Why would you want the magnets to be on top and not on the bottom? Or you want them to come down from the top and then have to magnetize through the plastic? Is that what you're looking for? No, you're making a stationary base. The MMU will be detachable. Oh, so you need magnets on the top for the MMU. I gotcha. And you want those magnets to be exposed? Like on the top, they'll just sit on the top? Okay. Is this an overkill of magnets? You still have 2 screw holes. What do you mean, Fred? I assume the screw holes you're mounting to the MMU may be not needed if you have the magnets. That's a good point. So are you talking about these screw holes here aren't needed? The ones that aren't straight? Aren't needed anymore? Yeah, the non-straight ones are not needed. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and change it. That's why I have them dimensioned. Thank you though, brother. Why can't I? Did I not put a line here? Do 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 do. I'm just making these here to get rid of those holes that you said were not necessary. What does the spacing look like for the magnet slots on here if you ignore these small holes, Ryu? Could they be closer, or is this a good distance and spacing of the magnets? What you think, Duder? You can't tell? I mean, they are still. It doesn't. I'm gonna put them on the top right now. Oh, Jesus Louises, man! Give me a second, man. Oh, I need to bring that one back. Trust me, my friend. I got it. I got it. I got it, my friend. Brum, brum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da, ba-dum. What was the? You said you needed it. How deep was it? 3 millimeters. Yeah, 3 millimeters. So I need to go down. So we'll extrude these first. We'll go down 3.2. Or should it be 3.5? 3.2 should probably be okay. And then for these other ones, .4. Yeah, that way you'll have magnets on the side where these screw holes were. You'll have 2 magnets in the middle, and the unit should still be able to slot into here on these little grippers. That's what I'm gonna call them, little grippers. But now you gotta print this for me to make sure it works, dude. I don't have 15mm magnets or a Prusa MMU. Bracket. Remixed. Magnet. Now make a bar that goes on the top of the magnet's holes. Why would you do that? If you want the magnets to be covered, then the solution would be to just put the magnets lower and then do a pause command and then have it just print on top of the magnets to close the top. And from what I'm understanding, at least from this design language, this little lip here is, I'm guessing, so the MMU sits in the middle. I need an attachment for MMU that connects. Okay, so the MMU doesn't have anything that's metal at all. And your plan is to attach that to the MMU. And that will then attach to this. So my question is, these mounting holes, right? These 2 that weren't straight, is this somewhere that you can screw into on the MMU? And also, what are these holes here? What are these for? Is this to mount down to something else? The outside muffler to mount to the enclosure. Okay, I got it. What the hell? I gotta lower my auto mod. That should have stopped you from saying screw it. What in the world? The M3 screws that or excuse me, the things that are bolting into the MMU, is that an M3 bolt? Yeah, M3s, okay. Okay. So then it doesn't matter how thick that top one is, so the other one could still take those magnets, blah, 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 blah. That makes sense. Okay, so that means I'm just open to do whatever I want in regards to design, which I like. So let's make a top piece that kind of slots in over this, maybe? Huh, okay. So what if I... What if I move these ones in closer? I'm gonna have to move that in a little bit. Let's move this all a little bit closer. Make sure this is all the same. 3.2. Perfect. The origin there. Let's. Let's project in this. Okay. That. Then let's add a little bit of tolerance here. Actually, let's not do it that way. Let's offset it. Match topology. Oh, I moved my camera back where I had it. What are you making? Ryu Prince came in. He wanted to see if I could help him remix this to add some magnets. So we're currently remixing this to basically so he can take it on and off with a magnet. I don't know why he wants to do that, but you know, we're not going to question it. We're just going to do it. Max preheating now. See how this remix comes out. Yeah, man, I'm sure it'll be perfect. I didn't know if you wanted like fillets and all that stuff, so I left it blank, but I put the Fusion 360 files in there. It should be easy enough for you to go in and change whatever you need to change on it, Clutch. What's a remix? Okay, so with 3D printing, you'll often have models that are almost what you need, right? So take this for example. I found this model on Printables that was a replacement hair guard like trimmer thing for my clippers, and my dog chewed the original one up. Like, it's gone, it's out of there. And if you want to get another one of these, you have to buy the whole pack. Like, I only needed just this one that he chewed up. I didn't need the entire pack. Went on Printables and I found this model. I printed it out and it almost fit my clippers perfectly. There was a couple issues when it came to like the reliability of it. It was a little bit difficult to print, and this top part kept snapping off. So a remix is where somebody goes in and they will make changes or fixes to the model or modify it in some way, and then they re-upload that model for other people to use. So it's kind of a way of keeping the 3D printing library of models forever growing. So the more people that remix stuff, the more the greater the odds are that when you need something, you should be able to easily just go online and find it. That's the goal, right? So like right now, he needs something that's gonna be specifically for him, and I'm just helping him remix it to make it better for his use case, and maybe down the line somebody else will also want to use that same model. And I'm trying to take it a step further, and a lot of these files that are available are like, if you look here under the files, they're .stl files, and when you load .stl files into a CAD program, they're not really easy to work with. So it's very difficult to make changes the way you want them. So hopefully by the end of this, we'll have extra step files and stuff that just make it easier for people to remix. keep the chain going, you know? Yeah, are you Papa Sonder, are you into 3D printing? Do you do any 3D printing at all? Or is this stream your first introduction to 3D printing and design and stuff like that? You recently done some 3D printing for a university project. Oh, cool. What was the project? What were you working on? You didn't do it. One of the guys from your group did it. Yeah. There's always that one guy that's got all the cool tech. A chest robot. Wow, that's cool. Is it like a public project that you guys are working on, or was it like specifically in your school? Is it online somewhere for us to see by any chance? Gotta love that cost of entry. It's not online, it's not that exciting. I mean, it sounds kind of exciting. A chess robot, so I'm guessing it's like got some type of brain and then it can make movements. Or does it just tell you the moves to make and then you have to make them yourself? Use some Chinese robots with magnets and then printed the board and pieces and then glued the magnets in the pieces. That's genius. I like it. So you use 3D printing to make your project so much easier versus having to try to like actually build something else up. That's cool, man. That's actually really cool. Was the main board that you guys used for the robot, is that like something that you can easily get online? Or is that something through your school that your school provided? Wait, so does it have AI play you? Because if that, yeah, that's in my brain, that's what it went to. You have like, you're playing against an AI chess robot. And if that's the case, that's sick. You guys deserve an A plus times 1,000. What? Yes, but the AI is just a chess algorithm that you can use very easily. It's like plug and play. Okay, it's kind of like if you wanted to buy like a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino. People already have projects that you can upload that have the code, and then you can kind of build whatever you want around that code. Yeah, that is cool to have the physical side. You're not just like playing an app on your phone. How long did the project take? Two semesters. But you didn't work on it that much. Okay. You had oh yeah, image recognition is tough. I used to do that, not image recognition so to speak, but back in college and engineering, we made a line following robot, which I guess isn't so much image recognition, but it was still a very fun project to do. You work in software engineering, and usually it's all very deterministic. If you work in absolute inputs and you get the predictable results, and this image recognition was like the lighting condition is a little different. Yeah, yeah. The lighting itself can change what the image is that you're reading, throw off all of your results. Another software engineer. So we got 3.2 millimeters up. That's going to be where the magnets are, and then going to need to screw in the MMU. So we'll have to have. Ooh, so this magnet's going to have to go somewhere else because it's going to need to screw into the MMU. Okay, that's definitely good to know. Cancel this. Let's actually go ahead and address that now. Or 22.55. Check the Patreon remix. I'll check it here in a bit here, Clutch. $7.697 is how much I have to move this. 7.6. 7.679. Perfecto. All right, let's check the Patreon chat. See what we got going in there. All right, so we got a request. Okay, I see you. I see you. I'll work on this one afterwards, man. Just put the details like last time, which I think you're already on top of. So what are you guys talking about? Let's see. Oh, you're going to school for a bachelor's in engineering, Papa? Papa Onder? Also, Papa Under, consider hitting that follow button, dude. I'm gonna be trying to go live every day and doing remixing and more stuff like this. So if you're enjoying the content, hit that follow button and make sure to stop by on the next Strimmy Dinny. I have to reverse engineer my own work. Did somebody like take my other one and do? I didn't even look that close into it. It said you weren't followed, so you refollowed. Why are my notifications not popping up? I see that re-followed and Papa followed, but for some reason the notification didn't go off. That doesn't make sense. I guess I'll replay them. Replay reuse. Oh, there we go. Did they pop up and I just didn't see them? Well, I'm gonna replay them because I didn't see them. I also didn't hear them. I need to turn the sound up on those alerts. I did not hear those at all. Thank you very much for the follow, Ryu and Papa Onder. Papa Sonder. I keep wanting to call you Papa Onder. Papa Sonder, thank you very much for the follow. We are, what, 33 followers away from hitting the minimum affiliate follow requirement. We're one step closer. How large of a difference in 3D printing between materials and printers? There's a massive difference between materials and printers and how you're printing it and your cooling and temperatures and all that stuff. Like PLA prints 100% different than what ABS prints, and it prints different than PETG and TPU. They all have their different values and settings that you have to get calibrated for the best results. 3.2. Ryu, are you still here? Do you want to put heat inserts in this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, you wouldn't want heat inserts here, actually, now that I think about it, because I'm sure that the MMU has heated inserts that you're screwing into. Yeah. I asked and then I thought about it. So this will be 5 points. Oops, I don't want to make this a join. Those and 3D printing, it sounds complicated, but once you get everything calibrated and up and running, it's not that bad. Like, I've got 3 printers, they're all calibrated. At any given time, if I want to print something, I just load the file, slice it, and press print. I would say it's difficult to get to that point, but once you're at that point, you have generally learned enough about 3D printing and you've done enough calibration to know what's wrong and what's not. So it becomes very second nature very quickly once you've actually gone through the calibrations of what you need to set and what you need to do. What's your thoughts on Bambu Lab printers? So I just got one recently. My significant other bought me one. He bought me a Bambu Lab P1S with an AMS combo. And I would say out of the box, plug and play, it's hands down the easiest printer I've ever used. I've done 0 calibrations on the Bambu, and this is coming from the calibration lord himself. The only calibration I did was use the exact same settings that I'm using on my K1 Max as I use on my Bambu. Outside of that, I've done no calibration. You don't have to worry about your Z offset. You don't have to worry about any of the stuff that can really make you run into issue when you first start 3D printing. That being said, there are print quality issues with the Bambu that I personally am not really okay with. But to the average user, you would never see a problem. You would look at those prints and go, wow, that's perfect. But to me, all I see is Z banding and just improper cooling and stuff like that. And there's things that you can do to fix it, but it's not as easy to fix. So I would say my overall thoughts on a Bambu is that they're like 90% there. If you want a 3D printing experience that is out of the box, plug and play, buy a Bambu. If you don't ever want to tinker on your printer, you just want to get something that you can purchase and start printing the same day, buy a Bambu. I'm pretty sure we have a Bambu thing. Yeah, every school either has a Prusa or a Bambu, and I think more often than not, most places are going to just Bambu because they're easier to maintain, and it's not rocket science. Bambu takes a lot of the tinker out of it. So if you are a tinkerer, you might the Bambu leaves something left to desire. What would you miss, or like, do you want to tinker with? What do I miss? Like, so Bambu it's very closed sourced. So the firmware end of it, I can't really go in and change a lot of things that I would normally like to change. For example, it's very difficult to change something as simple and trivial on a bamboo, like how high or how close your nozzle is to the bed. Bamboo pretty much says, hold your beer, we got this, we're gonna do it the way we want to do it, the way we think is best. And sometimes their way isn't the best and most efficient. And because it's closed source, it just makes it a little bit difficult to go in and change that. Um, when it comes to buying replacement parts, because everything on that printer is proprietary, it's very difficult to do that without having to go directly to Bamboo. So it's hard to innovate and go above and beyond on the Bamboo because it's so locked down. I've become pretty known in the community for designing ducts or cooling systems for the printers. And with Bamboo, something as simple as upgrading your cooling, now that's an extra layer that you have to go into because even their fans are proprietary. So it just really limits what you can do to the machine. But them keeping everything proprietary makes it very simple for them to offer solutions to fix stuff. So if something's wrong, well, they can just go to the factory line at their business and go, well, this is exactly what's wrong. Whereas you start going third party, there's more room for error, more things to go wrong, more ways for people to interpret your product that Bamboo might not want you to interpret it as. You shell out to get the X1 carbon and root it. Really wish there's one in lock the PONS already. Yeah, it's a little bit weird that it's still locked down. As far as 3D printing is, as a technology, you would think that they'd be a lot more open to making it open source. But what are you gonna do? What's a 3D printer that doesn't have those issues you just said that you've noticed on the PONS? Huh, that's a good question. Um, Off the top of my head, they all have issues somewhere. And unless you're willing to shell out just a bunch of money, it's difficult. Um, Man, that is actually really tough. Maybe a Voron, but you have to build those. So those aren't really out of the box because you've got to build those from scratch. But once those are up and running, I don't think there's a printer that on the consumer grade market that even comes remotely close to what Voron has accomplished. As Soval has tried with the SVO8, but they missed the mark because they did what most 3D printer companies do. They cheaped out. So I really wanted Soval's option to be that printer, but they also just they went the wrong direction. Oh, the rat rig's great as well, but that's also an experience where you have to do a lot of building, you know? So I guess if you're okay with building stuff, then yeah, rat rig, Voron, um, what are the other companies that do that stuff? I have to pull up a list, but there's a lot of companies that are great if you're willing to really dive into it, but there's not, in my opinion, too many options that are straight out of the box, plug and play, anywhere close to what Bamboo has done. Reality is slowly getting there, and it's just the problem that you run into is just these companies cut corners in the strangest places. Like in places where it's like, man, that probably saved you 50 cents. Why didn't you just do that? But it's definitely tough. I don't know if I could give a solid recommendation outside of just like a Bamboo X1 Carbon. Um, yeah, the Bamboo X1 Carbon is probably the most solid, well-rounded printer. And then maybe the A1 Mini. That one has a lot of cool stuff going on that the community's latching onto. But there's not a lot of great options out there. Flash 4 Vision 5, you can flash clipper and mod and tinker it or run stock and it prints great. There you go. Butch has got the solution for you. You have two Adventure 5 now, and and a regular Pro, both of them print as good, sometimes better than the P1S, no AMS. I think one of the biggest issues that P1 has is their lead screws. That's like, they're not secure and they flop around, so you get crazy Z-banding. You guys are very involved in 3D printing. Yeah, man. 3D printing has taken over my life. And just like you pointed out, it's not straightforward and very intuitive. And I've been lucky enough to have a background knowledge in this stuff and be able to understand it really well. So there's a lot of people in the 3D printing community that are like me, where they know a lot of stuff and they're willing to help. So if you're willing to stick around and kind of go into that rabbit hole a bit, 3D printing's great. Yeah, 220 by 220 by 220 is pretty... Yikes. Same as the K1. I don't have the normal K1. I have the K1 Max. Dang, the K1 is small. I forget that. The K1 Max is great. It's just very difficult to get into like proper working printing order. Oh, the Qt Pro 4. That's another sleeper. The Qt's doing good things over there. That's another very solid printer. Need to reference some geometry from another project here. The chamber, yeah, I did hear that they were having issues with the chamber heater. So Pred, I've heard nothing but good things about the K2 Plus, which scares me because it's from Creality and they don't have a track record that should be giving them a glowing review, but maybe they've maybe they've changed. I don't know. I'm always very skeptical when it comes to Creality. Especially their first launches, that's just I don't know, man. You know, 3 people that have them and they suck. Dang. Yeah, I'm always a little bit wary when it comes to Creality. They just they make some questionable decisions. Back to square one. I think 2025 is gonna launch some good printers, man. Technology is there. Companies are starting to release stuff at cheaper and cheaper clips. I think we'll be there soon. It just costs a kidney, probably. Yeah. Bambu's gonna drop a monster like $4,000 range. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, if Prusa can get away with charging, after all the goodies and everything, somewhere close to $6,000 for the Prusa XL, Bambu can definitely get away with charging $4,000 to $5,000 for a printer, and people will gobble it up like it's going out of style. People will love that. The Prusa price range is insane. Yeah, the Prusa price range is wacky. For $6,000, I could build myself 4 Vorons. Like, I could build myself 4 Vorons and build myself 4 carrot feeders. You know, Ryu, you shut up with your Prusa. Your freaking machine gun ridden Prusa. Okay, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, dude. Yeah, I would like a Voron, but I'm just too lazy to build one. That's kind of what it comes down to. Hopefully in the future I'll not be so lazy, and I'll get around to building myself a Voron. I need a bolt to measure. Both of your tridents were built but broken. Way easier to build one, I think, in the end. So, Clutch, are you saying if you're going to get a Voron, don't bother trying to buy one pre-built? Just buy a kit and build it yourself? Rat Rig seems a bit more straightforward. I think the Rat Rig's kits come way more built than a Voron does. We can look at it here after this remix. We'll take a look at some Rat Rigs and some other 3D printers. Your first Trident 250. Oh my god. You've redone all the wiring and most of the rails, bed mounting, etc. That said, for $400 that you paid, you got about $1,200 in parts and upgrades. Yeah, that does sound like a good deal. Quite the 2mm. We want this as flush, so we can really risk that. Not like someone bought a Voron just to give up on building it and cut their losses and by selling. Yep, I feel like those happen a lot. Ryu, are you still here? How is this looking? I think this will work, man. You've got your magnet slots. This will slot down over the top of that. So this will screw into the MMU, give you magnets. This screws down to the enclosure. I think this will be good, Ryu. What do you think? If you're still here. Unless you want the, you know, I'll add this as well. The little cuts is. Oh, I can't add those because then you'd have to print it another way. Oh, it's gonna have to be like this. Looks close to what you envisioned. Hell yeah, dude. I can add those little the lips on the side here like it was before for it to recess in, but you won't be able to print this flat. You'll have to print it on its side. What do you think, Ryu? Would you rather keep this flat and be able to print it on this face, or have to turn it 90 degrees and print it horizontally? So you'd have to print it like this. Well, what do you prefer? What do you prefer, Governor? You tell me what you prefer, and I'll make it happen. You don't mind whatever's easiest for you, sir. You're happy to have a Magnum out. Okay, I got you. For simplicity and ease of printing, it'd be easier like that, because then you can just print this flat. This is already going to be bolted down, so I don't know if it'll matter at all. I'm trying to think, should I add like a catch for this to seat into? You know what I'm talking about? So this like sockets into a slot. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be needed. It's always me doing the most. This is why it's good for me to be on stream, because as a designer, sometimes I don't know when to stop. I just I keep going and keep going and keep going. Cool. So I'll get this. You. Give me tail racket. MMU, what should I call this? It's the MMU table bracket top portion. MMU side magnet mount. To table bracket. Use side. I need a way to differentiate the top from the bottom. So should I call this table mount MMU side, and then the other one will be enclosure side? This will be table. This will be table mount. Magnet. I can't spell. Magnetic. Is that how you spell magnetic? I don't know. Menu magnetic table mount. There we go. Magnet. I spell right? Magnetic. I got it. English is hard. We'll call it magnetic MMU table bracket units. Save that. Save this as a mesh. Save it as Save this as a mesh. Save it as that. We'll go into the slicer and we'll orient this. So, add both of these guys here. Switch. Why does it look like this? There we go. This needs to be flipped. And I don't even need to mirror. Do these need to be mirrored? For you? I think it would need to be mirrored, no? How does the original go? Because it only has one side of these. Do you print these twice or do you mirror it? No, you just have to sit backwards. Okay. So you just need to print 2 of these each, right? So this is what you do as a good designer. Oops. as a good designer, should always go in and orient things for your end user so that they don't have to. I like to, like, if I do arrange, sometimes it won't, like, let it rush. Control all. I didn't mean to assemble. Can I go back? What do I do? Control. Yeah, it does that, and I don't want that. I want it to be the way that I want it. So, we'll make it about right. Call it there, I guess. Control A, center, and then you export this file, export as one STL, and you call it MMU. What did I even call this project? I don't remember. Why is my memory so bad? Magnetic MMU cable mount complete. Okay. Is that actually what I called it? Yes, that is what I called it. Hell yeah. All right, so let me send you this file review if you want to get this printed and see if your magnets is up fit. That would be dope. There you go. Cool beans. And then if that does work, then I'll get this uploaded as a remix as well. Hey, look at us. 2 remixes today. 2 remixes. Let's see. I think that Clutch also had another remix in the Patreon, so let's take a look at that as well. Oh, this is already my remix. What's going on? Clutch, are you here? What do you need me to do, brother? You're still here, Clutch. Let me know what you needed remix on this guy here. Wow. Because if we don't have any more remixes, I'm gonna call it for the day. If we don't have any more remixes, brothers and sisters. Ooh. That's so cool that they have the IDEXing option on the rat rigs. All right, brother. Yeah, I think I'm gonna raid into Shook 1. You have an egg holder. Okay, I'm gonna say if we're not done, I'm gonna raid over to my homie. Oh yeah, if it's the penis egg holder, we're not printing that. We're not remixing that. We're not we're not doing that egg holder if that's the one you're talking about. Oh my god, no, I'm not remixing the penis egg holder to make it hold 18 eggs. Okay. Oh, you guys are funny. You guys are funny, funny, funny. Which one is it if it's not that one? Two. Oh, okay. So you wanted to just hold bigger eggs. Oh no. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm definitely not doing it. Even though I honestly think that would probably get a lot of downloads. You want to say hi to the stream, bud? Up, up. Up, up. Yeah, sugar boy, Malcolm. Everybody, this is Malcolm. This is my pooch. Oh, he's a good boy. This guy. He's a good boy. Malcolm, dude. Look at this guy. He's so adorable. This is my favorite little dude. Hello. Hello. Hi, guys. How you doing? Hello. Hi. Hi, guys. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. I love this guy. He just threw open his mouth a little bit, but it's okay. He has the hiccups. Oh no, bud. How do I help you? How do you help a dog with hiccups? I don't know what to do. Do I burp him? How do I... He's got hiccups. I don't know what to do. How do I help you? I don't know how to help you. He's just like, he looks so pathetic. Are you okay? Up, up, you good? Up, up. Up. He seems very confused at his hiccups. It's gonna be okay. They'll pass. Yeah. Goodness. The hiccups will go. It won't last for long, but. Oh my goodness. That's a good. Alright, guys. I think we'll call it. If you guys are feeling so inclined, please stay around for the raid. It makes me look cool. No, I appreciate you guys stopping by today. We got a couple remixes done. No problem, Ryu. I'll try to, if we can confirm that other remix works, once Ryu gets a chance to test it out and everything, I'll make sure to get it uploaded for all of you guys on printables. I will definitely be back tomorrow for another stream, so go on printables, go on Makerworld, go on Thangs, go on whatever. Go find some files for me to remix, and I'll do what I did again today, tomorrow. I will, yeah, we'll try to do this every day. So please, guys, tomorrow, come in with some remixes. I'll stay live as long as I have remixes to do. Yeah, hopefully I'll send that. I'm going to be sending that guy an email when we get off the stream today to see if he's okay with that. So we'll get that up and going. I appreciate you guys coming in again today. That's on some real, like, some real love stuff. Some real gang love. You know, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let me get out of here before I say something stupid. Yeah, no Diddy. I gotta say no Diddy after that one. Sheesh. Thanks again a million, guys. We got 2 more followers today on the road to affiliate. We're almost there. Stick around for the raid. Say hello. And when you talk in his chat, you will immediately become a mod. It's not to actually do mod stuff. It's just to like say that you're cool and you're part of the gang. So go to the chat when you join. Make sure to type something. Type some ones. Become a mod. He's an awesome person. His name is Jesse. He goes by Shook, the real Shook one. Get in there, have some fun, throw some ones, hit him a follow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for coming in. Bye!